All right, hey, Kyle Lance Martin here with Time to Revive in Dallas, and I want to speak into specifically the Seattle 79 Plus. Really getting excited about the reports that we're hearing through Facebook, through Twitter, through email, and then through phone call and emails. We are hearing from folks saying, hey, this is what's going on. We're meeting on a regular basis. We've met 7 to 8 times now. And two things I want to talk about specifically to the Seattle 79 Plus. Just like Paul was in one location and then Timothy was in one, and then Timothy's giving the reports back to Paul saying, hey, this is what's happening in Thessalonica. This is what's going on, and then they correspond. I want to respond to some of the communication that's been taking place between Seattle and Dallas and encourage you, implore you, and exhort you, kind of all three, just like Paul would do. And one of them is I just want to say, keep going. The fact that you are pressing on every single week, going out and sharing the gospel, I absolutely love. What you are doing there in Seattle is such an encouragement, not only to us here in Dallas, but to the other cities that we've poured into. So I want to say, praise the Lord, keep pressing in and sharing the gospel. But I also want to say, hey, as we do this, as we go out and share the gospel, I really want to encourage you to go to your local church and start gathering some of those folks. Maybe it's just your friends. Maybe you go back to your pastor. Maybe you go to some of your elders or your deacons and say, hey, look, would you prayerfully consider coming out and joining us one of these days? We want the local church that you are a part of, not just the Seattle 79, but the local church as well, to get involved and come out and share the gospel. So that way it really is becoming the picture of the Church of Seattle. So does that make sense? So as you go out and share the gospel, invite the local church that you're a part of, but then you can also take this training that you've learned, the experiences that you've had, and go back to your church and serve as an evangelist to your local church. So we really see it as a both and. Yes, you're pouring into the Seattle 79. Yes, you're going to the 7 different hills sharing the gospel, but you're also not neglecting your local church that you're a part of. We want them to grow in sharing the gospel because of how the Lord's wired you. Does that make sense? So I want you to start thinking it as a both and. We're going out and we're pouring into our local church as well. Now here's what's really fun. As you go out and share the gospel in these 7 hills, we want to start connecting those new believers, those new disciples, to those local churches. So the key is to take the evangelism component and then encourage people to make disciples in those local churches. So that's really one of our goals. I want to encourage you with some of these thoughts, some of the things that I've heard. You guys are doing an incredible job, but also let's look to make disciples. So here's the encouragement for the next couple weeks. It's not to actually go out and share the gospel. Kyle, did you just say that? Yes, I did. Here's why. We still need some follow-up to the folks that came to know the Lord during the Revive Seattle week in April. So what we found favor in Devil's Lake and what we found favor in Richmond, California, is instead of actually going out and sharing the gospel, we're going to follow up with the people that we've already shared the gospel to. So for the next couple weeks, through Aaron Collins, through Buzz Leonard, through other leaders that are actually available at that time on those Saturdays. Not everybody can make it, I totally understand, but when you're there, we want you to follow up with those people. So when you show up on a Saturday, we want you to call those people on Beacon Hill. We want you to call those people on Capitol Hill. If we have their addresses, instead of calling them, go visit them. You get the point. Instead of sharing the gospel, for the next couple weeks, you guys decide how long you want to do this, but we want you to follow up with all of those people that we've already talked to on those various hills. That's how I believe we're going to start getting things to stick, believers to grow in the Lord, and then more and more churches to get involved. You know, I love hearing the reports. Please keep sending pictures. Please keep calling. Please keep sending emails. Christy Thomas and I and John and our team, Emily, we love hearing this. Because what it does is it encourages those that are throughout the United States as well. So Seattleites, 79 plus, keep it up. Keep trusting in the Lord and walking in the Spirit. Thanks.